Innovative volunteerism is a mindset change for all of us.
Today we are going to discuss why Africa needs an education revolution. We cannot discuss education without making it clear that it is not just the classical formal education we have, but those we have in our homes as well. Education starts from our homes, and the lessons learned from infantry are just perfected either wrongly or rightly at the formal level. African culture, regardless of the country, has a huge impact on what we have become today, and that is a form of education that cannot just be brushed away. The forgotten infantry education is what we must be able to interrogate. Just imagine just for a moment the mentalities of entitlement to being supported, we are indoctrinated with from our homes even before we get to school. Just think about that. We condition sometimes to think that society owes us something, that somebody must do something for us even if we are not doing anything. A kid growing up is told about the well-off uncle or auntie or brother or sisters or cousins who can help them. And they're never told that they need to be of value. Don't get me wrong, helping someone is not a problem. But the problem is when you help someone without also helping that person to help his or herself, then you are causing a problem. A student in school is told to work hard because the certificate they will get will be their license to just enjoy, from where they can start to enjoy life. They are never told that the certificate they get is actually a responsibility bequeathed on them to become solutions providers and devise solutions to the challenges that society faces today, that their community faces, that their villages or provinces or country or continent. We must start by solving these vices in our homes before we can tackle the formal education failure. Because if we don't do this, we will not be able to reset the button, and each and every one of us have to play a role. We must find purpose. We must be able to contextualize our purpose to our surrounding, our society, and from there then, that's where the reward will come. So we must formalize a mismatch and a fit-for-purpose educational system. And how we do it is very clear. Let me put it in perspective. It is clear from every indication that Africa's education system needs total revamping, else it will not be fit for purpose to solve today's and tomorrow's problems. Education curricula needs to be reformed to reflect an African ideology, contextualized to Africa's accurate history and circumstances. It needs to be African-centric, center on solving the continent's contemporary challenges while technically benchmarking against global best practices, thus becoming globally competitive. Universities and colleges should introduce programs that directly contribute to solving contemporary developmental challenges, such as infrastructure or health deficit, with the social sciences and arts building the right mental attitude to enable Africans to define an intellectual course for their education. I'm saying this today because I understand our education, our school curricula have not developed much and are still based sometimes with a focus more to build human capital, not to turn challenges into opportunities, not to drive development from a position of strength. And as a result of this, there is a significant disconnect between the challenges faced in the continent and the ability of people who have gone through the educational system to solve those challenges. And therefore, this aspect of theoretical versus problem-solving mismatch needs to be addressed. What we know is that scientific knowledge, for instance, is learned in a purely theoretical context with minimal exposure to real-world problem-solving. That's a fact. Truth is, getting the theory right is just the first step. This theoretical knowledge must then be put to the test in devising practical workable solutions in the context of the challenges and the opportunities that exist in this continent. The lack of alignment of the education sector to contemporary opportunities is the limiting factor, that actually causes the high level of graduate unemployment in the continent. It's documented that, for instance, that most educated people in the continent confront a mismatch between their training and availability opportunities. And this we see across the continent every day, where vacancies advertised sometimes, graduates who are unemployed apply not having the requisite skill sets, not matching what is needed. And a more glaring example is in Africa's agro-value chain. If you take the continent is losing $48 billion annually in the name of food service losses due to lack of value addition. To cover up a deficit, the continent is importing food worth over $35 billion. Cumulatively, we are talking over $84 billion worth of annual opportunities going down the drain. So what's the point? We must focus skill-based training on how to solve these challenges. And this way, we can go a long way in reversing these losses and creating multiple enterprise opportunities for our youth. For example, Cameroon loses in excess of about 4 billion in rice among key areas. It's the same with Nigeria, it's the same with Kenya, it's the same with many African countries. But what's my point? My point is, if processing and value addition is prioritized over just allowing things to go down the drain, if value is added, and if students are taught to focus skill-based training to produce engineers and technicians to use their theoretical knowledge in design, in thermodynamics, targeted at fabricating solar fridges and solar dryers that can operate in local conditions, we will not only be able to reverse these post-harvest losses, but we'll be turning them into opportunities, into enterprise opportunities, not only for farmers, but the entire subsector and supply chain of solar power, cool storage, or solar dryers. But the trigger for this is that Africa's education system will then be churning out skilled people who are job creators and not job seekers. And therefore, we urgently need an education policy that is right and fit for purpose. Africa's education policy must prioritize training manpower to tap into the agro value chain towards its full industrialization, since it is not only a leading challenging area for the continent, but also one that offers the best competitive advantage for the continents to ascend into global competitiveness. We must therefore focus beyond just satisfy with theoretical proficiency, which is the only first step, to trying this theory to develop practical solutions in areas focused on the continent's challenges and most strategic opportunities. And for this, in addition to fostering this enabling policy through refining and overhauling curricula as needed, where mainstreaming entrepreneurship education in the entire curriculum becomes a necessity to truly ensure that we can be able not only to ensure hands-on graduates, but also ensure hands-on mentorship where graduates are taken through structural guidance to improve, refine, align their skills to tap opportunities in the strategic area of sustainably industrializing the continent's agro-value chain. This is possible and is already happening. We're seeing young people developing soldiers. We're seeing young people turning waste to briquettes. We're seeing all this happening through what we call innovative volunteerism, where youth are guided to leverage their skills. They have leveraged their skills as a premium to forge partnerships with their contemporaries in other disciplines and collectively complement their skills to be a team to address these challenges. These realities are happening. So the point is simple. The educational system must be aligned to reality, and each and every one of us must be able to retool our skill. By retooling our skill, we are also in an educational process, acquiring new knowledge, applying the new knowledge to solve problems. And this responsibility lies with you and me. It lies with you and me. Complaining and blaming will not solve anything if we fold our arms, sit on those high horses, and complain as the problems continuously get perpetuated day in, day out, year after year. So the point is, we must move forward, and the only way to move forward is to leverage on what we have, which is ourselves, to use what we have to start from where we are and ensure that we actually drive transformational development. So the suggestion is to focus on going beyond theoretical proficiency in all disciplines and proceed to tie theory to problem solving and opportunities tapping in strategic areas like industrializing Africa agro value chains. This is the way to move, and we can do it. Thank you.
Let's embrace innovative volunteerism. Rise up, you and me are the solution to these challenges. Oh yeah. Rise up, you and me are the solution to these challenges. Oh yeah. Innovative and volunteerism, food security and youth unemployment, climate actions and selfless solutions. These are things that we need.